Hey everybody, this is Bryce Proctor. I own a company called IDM, Innovations Design and Manufacturing. I am a manufacturing engineer and consultant. Been in the aircraft industry and automotive industry combined for about 30 years. Currently work with a company called Max Custom Tie Downs, designing items for them. This is a review on the body armor half doors. I have an 04 Wrangler LJ or TJ long wheelbase. Bought these doors about 3 weeks ago. Been running them since the weather up here in Idaho is decent. Just a couple items, and this is just my my perspective on these doors. I don't mind the doors and this height. Some people complain about that. It doesn't look good. Should just be there. I like the height. The netting, it fits well. It got a little bit wet and it actually tightened up and actually fit better, but it adds some pretty good protection. The biggest complaint, two complaints about this door is my feeling is it's about a ½ inch short, and that causes some issues with latching. My wife, my 14-year-old have a hard time opening and closing this door. You really have to slam them, and I'll go over why this is the case. It is adjusted as good as it can be. I do build hot rods and such from time to time, and I kind of know what I'm talking about and how to adjust the door properly. Anyway, it is adjusted all the way back. You can see the slots in the hinges here. The door is back as far as it can go, but I think this door needs to be, like I said, ½ inch longer, and I'll get into that in a second. We'll go over my first issue. Putting this thing together, I noticed the bolts are incredibly long. They're over length, and because of that, there's a couple issues here with the latching mechanism. This latch really needs to be moved aft or to the rear by ½ inch, you can see. So there's a secondary latch in this mechanism that actually creates the latching mechanism to lock closed, and that's that second piece back in there. And the striker has to push on that to get it to actually close. And what's happening is you can actually see it's starting to ride over here where this radius is. And if it was that way, even a ½ inch, it wouldn't have that issue. But I can't adjust it really that way because the nut, I don't know if the light's any good, the nut would start hit, and if I flip the bolt around so this head is on this side and put some shims or something behind this latch to move it that way, you can see that I've got it pushed back as far as I can with the slots. There's the edge of the slot right there. I can't go back any further, and it would really help if I could, but if I flip this bolt around, this bolt hits this bolt. So I think it's kind of poor design using bolts that are way too long, and then on top of that not using nylocks, and they use lock washers. And lock washers, in using a oversized hole, the lock washer just falls down into that and actually doesn't create a locking mechanism. They give you washers, but if you put a washer between that locking mechanism, lock washer, and that slot, it'll still end up spinning. So they should have used nylocks, but that's my personal opinion. They did here, and that's about the correct length. Don't know if they actually built this latch or if they bought it off the shelf. Anyway, those are the issues, and it's kind of a pain because I have to come around and open up the door for my wife and kids quite often because of that. The other issue is in their review, or in their information on the doors, you can bolt on your stock mirrors. Well, that's not the case. I ended up finding that out after I brought them home, and I was going to switch my mirrors out, but you can see this plastic base is way too big to fit. It ends up hitting the crossbar right here. So I went back to 4 Wheel Parts and bought body armor mirrors, which bolted on fine, but there again, their design guys didn't give us long enough fasteners. It's supposed to have a thread or two, thread and a half at least through the nut nylock, and that's not the case here. Should be okay. The other issue with these mirrors is good grief, is they fit fine, but they tell you in the instructions that you tighten down these fasteners in here. Sorry about the video here. Tighten these down once you get into position. Well, you can tighten 2 of them down, but try getting this one right here. You can't get a screwdriver in there to tighten it down, and the wind and vibration, this thing still ends up moving, so every couple of trips I gotta reposition. It's pretty sloppy. The other issue right offhand, get some of this dirt off, I don't know if you can see it, if you move where they bonded this mirror, it actually flexed the mirror, so you get distortion right across the center line right here. And I don't know if you can see it as I move the camera up and down, but anyway, not real impressed with their mirrors. I'll probably try and find some other replacement. Outside of that, I think that pretty much covers it. I do have the door adjusted as far back as possible. You can see the slots here. So I'm either going to have to open those slots up more, push the door back another 1/4 inch, which is going to kind of look ugly here. Might mess up, might not be able to because of this bend. Might end up having to retweak these. Might even end up remaking these brackets, and or doing a little bit of welding and weld a bracket on this pipe here, and fastening the latch mechanism to it will be my other option. Anyway, so I hope Body Armor reworks their door. If not, I would look somewhere else for a half doors. The driver's side doesn't need to work on that door a little bit. I might be able to get it better. My door, it's not quite so bad, but quite often it doesn't latch without really slamming it. If you do that, it sometimes comes unlatched. Anyway, all in all, decently made, good welds, powder coating seems to be decent. Anyway, leave any comments, questions, I'll try and answer them. Don't flame me on my video, I'm not a videographer. Anyway, from North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene Lake, peace out.